and welcome to a very special edition of the Online Zone right here on Card Player TV. My name is Julio Rodriguez, your host, and I'm joined by staff writer / poker legal expert Brian Pempis. Brian, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, Julio. How are you?
Excellent. Are you ready to talk some poker legal news?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, the way we're going to do it is like this. We're going to look at each state one by one and assess their chances for passing some form of poker legislation. So let's start with the states that are the least likely to pass anything. Hawaii. Now, it seems to me that Hawaii was kind of a last-ditch effort. The bill supporter there kind of just threw it on the end of a school supply tax holiday break. What do you give the chances at any sort of revival for this bill happening?
I would give the chances of this bill about the same odds as Robert Varconi winning the main event twice more in his lifetime, because people in Hawaii actually totally disagree with the lawmakers who support the bill, because they argue that online poker would decrease tourism, which is one of the main arguments for legalized online poker.
Now, if you move on to Iowa, another state that seems pretty dead in the water when it comes to poker legislation, what's the main issue there?
It seems like the main issue is that the Iowa Racing and Gaming Commission has problems with the language of the bill, and they would definitely need to be able to review that later after the bill is amended.
It's tough to get everyone on the same page, even if they want the same thing. Now, you go down to Florida, where the state and the pari-mutuel card rooms must come to terms with separate Seminole gaming packs. That's going to be tough because it seems like the Seminoles want what's in their best interest, and they want to keep the pari-mutuel facilities down.
Yes, and also people in the state were concerned about the bill creating a monopoly for, like you said, the pari-mutuel gaming entities, and it would have also prevented the major online sites such as Pokerstars and Full Tilt from coming to Florida, which seems like the major benefit of an online poker bill would be to bring in tax revenue from these online giants.
Now, as a former Floridian, I know I would not want to be shut out from all of these big offshore gaming sites myself. Now, moving on to New Jersey, where Governor Chris Christie vetoed a bill that would have legalized online poker. That one would seem really close. What in the end made it sway the other way?
Well, some people actually were not surprised at all that he vetoed the bill, because he is, after all, a conservative governor, and he had issue with how the bill would go along with his policies and if it would violate federal law. But the fact that the bill did reach his desk was, in many ways, a sort of a victory for online poker, because it advanced pretty far on the state level. But it does seem like it will be able to be resubmitted and brought back to his desk in the future.
All right, so while they take a look at it, but that's the same old story with every kind of politician these days. Regardless of whether or not it's a good decision for the state, it's all about pleasing your constituents. So if you happen to have a conservative agenda, even if it feels right, even if there's tons of revenue to be made, you kind of have to lean in that direction when making all of your future decisions. Now let's move on to the state of California. There are also some tribal casinos there involved in those bills, correct?
It seems like that there is support with one of the poker bills in California. There's actually two, and the one has been amended this month, the leading bill, and it seems like it will slowly but surely move along through the legislature, but it is very unclear how far it will get and if it will advance to the point that New Jersey had. But the fact that it is still alive does still offer some hope for online poker in California.
It's weird. You look at some of the major casino giants within LA. Even the Commerce Casino, very famously, did not support any online gaming legislation. So you have online interests competing with the live poker scene in California. There's definitely a muddled mess to get through there.
Yeah, but it's interesting because California, unlike Hawaii and Iowa, has such a huge population that could take advantage of online poker. So it seems like there might be more motivation for this bill to pass.
There's money sitting out there.
Yes.
Might as well get your hands on some of it. That's basically what every what every logical person in each of these states is looking at. Now, we're going on to our card player office home of Nevada, where things are going very well. Can you explain what's going on that front?
Yes, in a recent turn of events, the governor of Nevada is in support of the online poker bill, according to William Horn, the chairman of the Assembly Committee and the sponsor of the bill. The bill, according to him, should move to the governor's office without difficulty because the major opponents of the bill have now been converted to agreeing with the language of the bill. William Horn said that the language might need to be cleaned up a little bit, but as of right now, the amendments of the bill seem good to go for the future and getting the bill eventually passed. Nevada wants to remain as the leader in online or in gaming in the country and keep up its gold standard in regulation. So they have huge motivation to make sure other places in the country do not leapfrog them and get their own online poker legislation passed. Nevada has strong motivation to be the first.
Now, in stark contrast to the state of Florida, where sites like Full Tilt, the Sirius Network, Pokerstars would be shut out, here we have a situation where these sites are partnering with existing land-based casinos. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, actually, Pokerstars is the main force behind the bill. They actually hired former Assembly Speaker Richard Perkins to propose the bill and try to get it in through via William Horn. And Pokerstars actually partnered in March with Wynn Resorts to possibly create a PokerstarsWin.com in the future should federal legislation pass. And the key amendments to the Nevada bill include taking out the international language from the provisions in order to set up an internet online system as opposed to regulating online poker in other jurisdictions, so that Nevada and its land-based casinos and these partnerships with online sites can wait for eventual federal legislation to pass, and then they could reap the benefits of being able to tax the rake from places outside of Nevada. So basically, the poker bill in Nevada right now would establish an intrastate system and hold off on doing everything else until the feds step in.
So when the rest of the country gets their together, then everyone can reap the benefits.
Yeah.
Lord knows the state of Nevada needs it. The economy is not doing well. Now, lately, all the buzz has been in Washington, D.C.
Right.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, and you have to be clear not to think that developments are happening right now. Promising developments are happening in the U.S. Congress. It's actually in the city council of the district itself, Washington, D.C., where they have now gotten the gears ready, started moving the gears to allow the lottery system in the district to allow online card playing for the 600,000 residents in the district. Washington, D.C. could actually be the first place to allow localized online poker, which is interesting because in the backyard of the district, online poker was banned.
It seems promising when you hear Washington, D.C. will be the first to pass any poker legislation, but then you have to realize it's only Washington, D.C.
Right.
Just because federal laws are made there does not mean that this law will apply at the federal level.
Right. But a lot of people are happy about it because they feel like if it is implemented in the district itself, it will serve as a good example for federal federal lawmakers in the backyard of.
Exactly. I mean, these guys get it done. Everything looks good.
Mm-hmm.
They're generating tax revenue. Why not have this spread elsewhere?
Right.
So that about does it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Poker Players Alliance is on record as saying that they hope that poker legislation happens at the federal level, and for that reason, they have been very, very cautious to support any sort of push made at the state level. Mm-hmm. But anything that moves along this process that gets poker licensed and regulated is fine by us right here at Card Player.
Mm-hmm. And one question I want to throw out to you guys that you can think about later on and in the future is one of the main concerns about online poker at the state level or the localized level is that people are worried about how it would affect tourism. And you guys should think about what your opinion is on whether or not online poker would increase tourism or decrease tourism. It seems like that is one of the strongest concerns about the opponents of the bill, is whether or not it would actually keep people away or bring people in, and the supporters think that online poker could promote live tournaments, but some people believe that would actually make people stay at home more and play online and not come.
Exactly. Someone's not going to come to Las Vegas to play cards because they can play legally in the safety of their bedroom. Or maybe they can play legally in their bedroom and now they're inspired to make the trip out to Las Vegas. So you have two different opposing viewpoints on that one.
Right.
Well, Brian, thank you very much for your legal input, and I hope to continue to read more updates from you on cardplayer.com. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And I'd like to thank you guys for watching right here on Card Player TV.